Cheers out there in listening world to yet another episode of Sipping with Sin. I'm going to go ahead and refresh myself with a little beverage real quick because it's hot and you got to refresh, right? You got to get that hydration. Uh, yeah, you just got to. Got to stay hydrated, folks. But welcome back to another episode. Appreciate you all being here and listening yet again to another week of shenanigans. That's right. We said shenanigans because that's what we talk about around here. Lots of shenanigans, lots of nerdy stuff, and lots of fun stuff. So, it's another week. We got some topics to discuss, some trailers to go over, shows to kind of talk about, as well as some other stuff to debate on. So, without further ado, let's welcome our esteemed co-host, the one, the only Christian.
How's everybody doing today? It's good to be back.
He has returned, dreadlocks and all, in all of his wonder. He is here for yet another episode, and as we like to do with pretty much every episode, in fact, I think every episode, we like to start by knowing what everybody's been watching, reading, listening to, or playing recently. So, Christian, do you want to start that and see what's been going on in your world lately?
Absolutely. It's been a light week for me this week. I haven't watched too much this week. There's some things that I looked at that I watched that we'll talk about, I'm sure. But aside from that, I did rewatch a movie that I haven't seen in a while. And excuse me if my voice sounds off. This past weekend, I talked a whole lot and I lost my voice. So it's just now coming back. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I just wasn't going to say that, but that's what happened. So my voice went away. It's starting to come back. So if I sound a little mopier than usual, it's just because my voice isn't fully back yet. But anyway, with that being said, I watched The Collector this week. It's a horror movie that came out the later 2000s, I guess the earlier 2000s, excuse me. And I remember watching it a while ago and liking it. And I remember not knowing anything about it. And I just happened to randomly buy it on like DVD. And I ended up enjoying it. And it was very Saw-esque. It came out around the time where a lot of movies had the kind of torture porny aspect to them. And this one was one of the better ones. So The Collector, for those of you who haven't seen it, for one, what are you doing with your life? You got to go see this movie. It's currently streaming for free on Amazon Prime. So for everybody who hasn't seen it, or if you want to watch it again, I think The Collector and the sequel, The Collection, are both streaming right now for free on Prime. But anyway, The Collection is about a guy who's helping to install this security system for a family in their brand new home. It's a pretty big house. Turns out that he's actually casing the place so that he can rob them later. And he's going to use that money to pay off some loan sharks that his wife actually owes. So that night he goes into the house. It's a rainy, thunderous night. He goes into the house, sneaks in. It's really, really quiet. The family's supposed to be out on vacation. And he keeps hearing sounds. And he realizes that someone is in the house. And it's because the titular collector of the movie has collected the members of the house, and he is torturing them and has booby traps all around the house. So our main character, Arkin, also a thief, has to figure out how to escape the house without being noticed and attempting to save the family as well. So it's really good. There are a lot of cringy moments in it. And when I say cringy, I don't even mean like acting cringy. I mean like shit happens to these people and it makes you cringe. It makes you
like Achilles cut kind of things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So for an example, without ruining anything, there's a scene in the movie where one of the characters walks into the bathroom and like moves the shower curtain, and there's fish hooks set up all on the ceiling. So when he walks in and moves the curtain, there's fish hooks in his eyes and in his ears that he has to pull out quickly and quietly so that he's not noticed and that he could escape. There's scenes where somebody gets their tongue pulled with a forceps, and then they're getting ready to cut it. And there's scenes where things go into people's eyeballs and stuff like that, like gouging and all that. There's some crazy shit going on in this movie. It is gory as hell. It's not for the kids. It's absolutely rated R, and it lives up to the R rating. So if you're down for some good old tortury, escape the house kind of feel, rainy night. I watched it as of this recording. I watched it last night by myself in the dark, and I slept like a baby. But with that being said, you should totally give it a shot if you haven't watched it. Like I said, both of the films are out on Prime right now, and we have been rumored that we would get the third and final installment of the movie that's called, I forget what it's supposed to be called, The Collector, The Collection, and The Collected. I can't remember what the third
Collectibles?
one's supposed to be called. Huh?
Collectibles? Like Lunchables?
Collectibles. That'd be hilarious. But whatever that third one's supposed to be called, it's been rumored to come out for like 10 years now. I'm I'm sure it's safe to say we're not getting it. They would probably just reboot the entire series at this point. But these two movies are really good. They stand alone. Well, the second one, you definitely need to see the first one for it to make sense, because it does tie in, but it follows different characters, minus Arkin, who is, our main character from the first film. But definitely give these two movies a shot if you haven't already. And that's what I've been watching.
Nice, nice. I have finally started. I kind of waited a little bit on this. It's been out for like a little over a month, and I definitely took my time, and I have avoided everything on it. Christian just fell over his microphone, apparently. I have avoided literally everything I could. I wouldn't watch streams. I wouldn't watch like anything on it, reviews, anything. But it's been a game I've been pretty excited about for a while, and it's called The Quarry. I started it this past Monday, and as of recording this, I just beat it. My first playthrough, and I'm actually working on trying a few things I messed up on to see if I could change anything. But I'm fully expecting to do multiple playthroughs because I absolutely love this style of game. I love storytelling games, interactive ones where you have the quick time events, the decision making. There's so much good stuff to it. And so this game, without really giving, it's been out a month. I can talk about it. It's okay. If you don't want to know any spoilers and you're planning on playing the Quarry, then maybe fast forward just a little bit in the episode and you'll miss, what we're talking about. But so my favorite game of all time is Heavy Rain, which is an interactive story game. It follows a serial killer. I remember the first time I played it, it blew my mind. I was so into it and so engrossed. I stayed up way too late every night playing it, and loved it, and have played through it multiple times since. And I've played Until Dawn and Beyond Two Souls and Detroit Become Human and Madame Dean are all the ones I've pretty much played. And I've loved them. They've all been good. I will say right now, beating Quarry once, Quarry is right after Heavy Rain with me, and it may even slightly be nipping at the heels of Heavy Rain. I really liked the Quarry. I really did. It captured that 80s summer camp VHS vibe to it, playing through it. I like the characters in it for the most part. Some of them were a little annoying, but that's any movie, any game. They're just how they are and how they're wrote. The decision making was a ton of fun. And a big selling point is the fact that it has freaking werewolves. I am a huge fan of werewolves, so whenever I kind of called it early, I was like, full moon, werewolves. And then the story went on, and then I was like, oh, damn, it's actually werewolves. This is freaking awesome. Then I was all on board. But I really, really liked it. Like I said, I've played through it. I think it took, I don't know, like 10 hours maybe to beat the first playthrough. And then I'm playing through it. And then we actually are going to do like a special stream where the missus plays through it, because she does not, or she at least plays it. She's not going to play through it, but she's going to play it on stream for a stream, because she does not do well with stuff chasing her or the decision games or anything like that. So that'll be pretty funny. But amazing game. If you haven't checked it out yet, Supermassive puts it out, 2K Games. Fantastic. I really, really liked it. A little backstory on it. It's an interactive drama horror video game developed by Supermassive Games and published by 2K. Players assume control of 9 teenage counselors who must survive their last night at Hackett's Quarry summer camp amongst supernatural creatures and violent locals. Christian, I know you had some stuff you wanted to talk about, so let's hear it.
Absolutely. Tell me how many characters died in your playthrough?
Okay, so I actually was doing fantastic. Let's see, I don't think I lost my first character. I kind of thought I might have lost one, but I wasn't sure because they didn't really show it. But I think it's chapter 9, maybe. Chapter 9, I think, is when I potentially lost my first one. Yeah. Maybe it's into chapter 8. Into chapter 8. There is a werewolf in a basement. Again, if you're not wanting spoilers, don't listen. There's a werewolf in the basement, and I didn't stop Laura quick enough because I was like, is she going to actually shoot it? And I was like, it's a random werewolf. Does it matter? And then I was
Oh
like,
my goodness.
damn, maybe it's actually one of our friends. And then she shot it, and I was like, oh, whatever. And it was Nick. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But I didn't really think about that at the time. My first real mess up was because I hesitated. And that would have been in chapter 9. And it's after Ryan gets stabbed and then he gets bit. You choose whether or not you want Laura to bite you or not. And I let her bite me so I could heal. And then you end up fighting with Chris. And then Laura turns and Laura jumps on Travis Hackett. And Chris is coming towards Ryan. And there was my brain like glitched because it gives you like a quick you can shoot or not shoot. And when it popped up, I thought, shit, is that Laura? For a second, I was like, I don't want to shoot Laura. And I hesitated for that split second, and Chris shoved a shotgun through my head.
Through which character's head?
Ryan's head, straight up through his face.
Well, you can shoot the character with the shotgun because I don't believe that shotgun has the silver rounds in it.
It does. I redid it earlier. I shot Chris with it, and Laura went from a werewolf to she exploded again back to human form. Yeah. So Ryan died, and then after Ryan dies with Chris killing, then Travis, the sheriff, who's played by Ted Raimi, he takes a silver-backed mirror, like broken blade, and he cuts Laura as she decapitates Travis, so they kill each other. So I lost Travis, Laura, Ryan, all in one swoop, and then, of course, Nick.
How did you lose? That's crazy. I don't know many people that lost first Ryan and then also Laura. Those are the easiest characters to keep alive.
No, I lost them because, like I said, I hesitated on the shot because she turns to a werewolf right as that happens. And then I was like, it gives you a split second. And then, like, I was going to shoot him anyways. And it, like, they moved quick and then it was just over. Because I was like, is that Laura? Because I forgot that Laura went for Travis.
You didn't get to the very end of the game then.
Yes, I did. Well, okay, so I'll tell you what happened. So after that, they all died, and I was like, damn, I just lost, like, several characters. That sucks. So then I didn't lose anybody else. But then it comes back. Actually, I did. Okay, so there was another death, but they don't matter to me.
They don't matter?
They don't matter. Look, whenever I say main deaths, I'm saying, like, what, the 9 counselors is who I'm talking about keeping alive.
Okay. Well, okay, who died then?
So there's a moment when you first get to the Hackett house where Laura is fighting with Constance, which is the mom, with the shotgun. And I was like, I'm not giving her my gun. And so I fought. And that ends up resulting in Constance getting her face blown off by the shotgun. And I was like, oh, mom's dead. Okay. But then the dad lived.
Forget her.
The dad lived. Bobby lived. Chris lived, Jacob lived, Emma lived, Abby lived, Dylan lived, Caitlin lived, and then, of course, Caleb died, which was Chris's son, and Chris's daughter, Kaylee. I don't think you can save her. I don't know if there's a way to save her.
No, she's supposed to die.
Yeah, because I didn't see any way to, like, because Laura kills her without anything. And then I don't really know what happened to Max. I don't think it really told me at the end of my game. I don't know where Max went.
It's supposed to tell you what happens to all your characters.
Well, I must not have been paying attention to Max. I don't know if he lived or died. I'm guessing he's alive because nobody killed him that I know of. I don't know who got squished in the junkyard though. I haven't figured that out yet.
If you make it to the junkyard and there's a werewolf there, and she didn't die in the cabin, then it should be, I forget her name, but it's the chick who, like, you can choose to make out with Jacob or whatever to make.
No, it's not Emma. Emma's alive. She's chilling with Abby. At that point, like, Abby and Emma are in the basement where the game starts, and then they crawl up to the surveillance room. So Abby and Emma are
I
accounted
don't,
for.
I don't think I did that.
Nick is
So
not. It's not Nick because I killed Nick on the first playthrough, and that werewolf was there. It comes after Caitlin and Dylan, and I don't know who it is, but I end up dropping a car on him. And the second time I went through, because I started on like one of the chapters I messed up just to see if like I could clean it up and make, not the little goofy mistake of not shooting and stuff. And I was like, I wonder if I can do this different and still keep, Caitlin and Dylan alive. And the only way to like do it still was dropping the car on the werewolf. So I don't know who that is. It can't be Max, but unless there's a werewolf unaccounted for out there. So I'm not sure who it is. Or it doesn't kill him. It probably didn't kill him, honestly. Probably just trapped him. Right? I don't know.
I don't think that would full on kill them, but there's, you never know with this game, man.
Because it has to be silver. I don't know.
But the way that you played your game, it's a little weird because you lost some of the characters that most people kept alive, and then it's hard to see you even make it to the end of the game, like where you have to go up against the very first.
I didn't do that.
and
I
stuff.
didn't go against the first one, but now this time, I'm.
Oh yeah, okay. So that's what I meant by did you get to the actual ending of the game, which you did not.
Well, I mean, this ending. So like, Jacob is running near the end of the game, and he jumps a trap, and it catches a werewolf, and then later on, I guess when daybreak hits, you see that's Chris. It caught Chris, and then it says Chris will be around, or hanging around till the next full moon, and Nick was dead, and all that, and yeah.
That's a crazy. Your playthrough sounds pretty terrible. I'm not gonna like terrible. You're trash.
No, I was actually.
That's not what I mean.
You could have seen the first 8 chapters. I was crushing everything, and it was like one little screw up.
Well, the first few chapters, you're really just getting to know the characters. I mean, if you just fuck up badly, sure. But like most of the beginning of the game, you're really just talking a bunch. And like the first couple of chapters, unless you're really paying attention to the story, like a lot of people would perceive it as boring because they're not really paying attention to what's happening.
Oh, I was
in the
all
game
in the story.
I was too. There's just I've noticed that there's an influx of people who didn't really enjoy it and thought that it was boring. And I was like, you guys must not have been paying attention.
I mean, that's what these kind of games are, though. It's not like action, 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 action. It's more like you're literally watching a movie, and then when it comes to decisions, you have like a very short window to make a decision quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you live with the consequences. And I love that because I'm sitting there literally watching a movie and be like, oh shit, okay, what do I do here? All my stuff, though, like my run or hide and stuff, I was crushing that. I was like, man, I got this. Don't mess with me. There was some, we talked about this on a podcast. I saw I guess you said some dude was making like the worst choices ever.
Yeah.
I saw that. It's like, what was one? There was one that I was like, wow, that's definitely not asking you just to die. Like, really? Wait, what kind of choice is this? Like, there was some like blatantly obvious, like, do this and you're gonna die. Or do the smart thing here. I was like, wow, this is okay. But it was really good. It was really, really good. I liked it. But I know these type of games aren't for everybody. For me, I'm into them. I really enjoy them.
I enjoy them too. I really like them. I did want to drop a quick fact real fast that's not related to what you were talking about, but I just saw that Stranger Things Season 4 was watched for an estimated total of 1.3 billion hours on Netflix.
Jesus. So I'm going to say this, Christian, back on the subject of the Quarry. If you were to get the game, we could co-op it together.
That's true. I've actually thought about going ahead and buying the game.
How fun would that be? I would make the worst choices on possible, like just to mess you up.
And that's the thing. I was just about to say, I feel like if I bought the game and said, hey, let's play, you would make terrible decisions on purpose, and then I would be pissed.
Christian would be like, let's do the smart thing. Let's go run right here and then hide. And I'd be like, no, let's fight him with a stuffed animal or something stupid. And you'd be like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I will say the deaths, the ones I have seen are brutal, and I love it.
Well, that's good.
But that's what I've been into this week. Again, if you're into that kind of stuff, horror games, it's got a ton of people in it. David Arquette's in it. I can't think of the dude's name. He's been in a ton of stuff. He used to be bigger and he's lost a ton of
Lance
weight and is
Hendrickson.
actually in shape. Do you know who I'm talking about?
You mean Lance Hendrickson?
Is that his name? The guy that overalls Bobby?
Oh no, not Bobby. I'm thinking of the guy who's with Bobby, his dad.
Oh no, no. There's a
Yeah,
bunch of people in it. Ted
Lance
Raimi's in
Lance
it.
Hendrickson is the dad. He was in Detroit Become Human. He was
Oh
in
yeah, he was,
Pumpkinhead. He
wasn't
was
he?
in Aliens. He's in like a billion movies, bro.
The kid that's the neighbor from Santa Clara died in it. Um, Also, the teenager that is dating the babysitter, I cannot remember his name, from Halloween 2018. He's in it. He's actually Dylan. And then I can't think of his name either, but I think his real name is Justice Smith. He from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's his name.
Is that
That's his
him?
name.
Is that his real name?
Yeah, yeah.
He's in it
He's
as
in
well.
Detective Pikachu as well.
Do what?
He's in Detective
Oh, he
Pikachu.
is. I have to say, I don't know that I don't know. I think it's just how his personality is. But at times he kind of rubbed me wrong. And I was just like, you know what?
He's very, very, very bland in that movie.
Yes, he's very bland and dry. And like even his like funny, sarcastic moments, how he presents them, I'm just like, you know, if the werewolf gets you, Ryan, I'm not gonna be mad. Occasionally.
Yeah, he sounds like this
Yes.
the whole game, and he talks like this, and the
Yes.
only time that he shows any emotion is when he's talking to Chris, and it's just like, Chris, what's going on? We shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Fuck, he got bit.
Like that's pretty much all his
And he'll
emotions
say
in the
really
game.
dumb things. Granted, they're teenagers. Like, I get it, but he'll say really like naive things at times. I'm like, no.
Like what?
I don't know. His obsession with Chris is a good guy. We don't need to kill Chris. Well, if we kill Chris, we fix this vampire issue, or not vampire, sorry, werewolf issue we have. Also, there's some cool werewolf lore in this that's different. I don't think I've ever heard of the water thing with werewolves. Have you?
Oh, how they like them not getting in water? Like I don't think I've heard that either. To be honest,
Clear
with you.
water. Like, what was it? There was a poem, like a rhyme to it, but something about water. They don't do water. And then, of course, if you've seen any zombie infection movie or anything where like you get bit, you turn. What is it? It's like if you get bit, make haste with the limb or something, removing the limb, or I don't remember. It was another rhyme, but as soon as that happened to Dylan, right away I was like, cut it off. Evil Dead that thing, like saw it off. Let's go. Because I mean that's like any horror movie. If it's an infection and you physically see it spreading, get rid of it.
I mean, I can't say that I disagree.
The werewolves did look different. They were very different, but they were cool because they weren't your typical werewolves, I guess. But I called it super early, and Mrs. Sim was like, no, they're not werewolves. I was like, I don't know. It's kind of seeming
that was
like
one of my issues. That was one of my issues with the game. I really didn't enjoy the what am I trying to say? The concept design of the werewolves, because they were just like tall, thin, lichen-esque creatures, but they had no hair whatsoever. They had like the big bulged out eyes and they had like a snout for sure with like the fangs and everything, which was really cool. And
maybe they're
would
like
sometimes,
baby werewolves. If they get older, they grow hair. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I didn't enjoy the hairless kind of werewolf look.
But I guess it makes sense if it's erupting from inside of them.
I mean, yeah, that does track. I think that the design that they had going on there does make sense. It just wasn't my favorite design for.
I mean, would I have preferred a huge werewolf? Yeah, but this was different. And I guess even seeing it, if you like, for me that didn't know anything going in, I was like, I feel like it's a werewolf, but it kind of doesn't look like a werewolf kind of thing. But then I wasn't like, I hate it. I mean, it was cool. It was creepy enough. They moved on all fours a lot of cool things. I'm trying to think what else they had. I did like what is it? If you get scratched, you can't turn, but if you get bit, you can turn. And it's like kind of a short ticking like time bomb. I don't think it was a very long, like couple hours maybe, and you're turned. You just
Yeah,
like
it doesn't take
erupt in a
too
sweet
long.
transformation. You just like explode, go Super Saiyan, and turn into a werewolf. That was cool.
It's definitely interesting to see. I really did enjoy the game.
Yeah. We should play it, and I totally won't make bad decisions.
I feel like you're lying.
I would never lie.
I will
Okay.
say
Well,
I didn't know this, but apparently, right now at the time of this recording, it is a good friend of ours' birthday. So, Yobi, if you listen to this, happy birthday, my dude.
how'd you say
It's good
Yobi?
to see you.
Oh, it is
Yeah.
Yobi's.
It's Yobi's birthday, dude.
Yeah. Happy birthday to the legend King Yobi himself, the one and only.
Man. Yeah, dude, I hope you hear this and hear that I remembered and shouted you out, dog.
That is.
So,
We gotta give
remember
props. That's Christian. I knew it was close to mine, but I couldn't remember the date. I failed you, Yobi. I'm sorry. All the love to Christian. You remember. I knew it was close to mine because we're both July babies. We've talked about
That's
this.
right.
Yobi has been around, for those that don't know, forever, literally. Since the start of my content creation career, pretty much, Yobi's been around. Whenever I was just doing it as a hobby, Yobi has been around. So shout out to Yobi. Nothing but love for him. He's an awesome human being and an awesome person. So happy birthday to you. Hopefully you get to hear this. And yeah, dude. Hope you have a good one. But with that being said, we'll get off the quarry. I think I bored Christian enough with it. I don't think he was happy with the answers because Christian hates me and he doesn't like my decision making, apparently.
Your decision making is questionable at best.
Oh my God, this guy. Okay, so with that being said, we had 2 pretty big trailers drop that I think we need to cover real quick. But before that, very brief news that I just saw at the time of recording this. It is rumored Henry Cavill is potentially going to announce returning as Superman. Again, it's rumored, but supposedly at Comic-Con, which is this week. Christian, when is Comic-Con?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay.
Tomorrow.
Supposedly his appearance at Comic-Con, he's going to announce it. We will see. I don't know. Me and Christian kind of already talked about it. I know Christian is very hesitant on it because of the state of DC, but I'm for it. I personally like him as Superman. I'm not a huge Superman fan, but I do like him as Superman. So we'll see what happens there. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. DC needs to do some fixing and some work for sure.
They do, man. Personally, I would love to see Henry come back as Superman. Do I think it's going to happen? Not really. It'd be nice though. I would love to be wrong.
Well, maybe it'll happen. But yeah, that was a little brief tidbit of news and rumor we wanted to share. And yeah, let's talk about House of Dragons. The brand new trailer dropped I think today. Actually, the time of recording this, I think a few hours ago. And the show comes out August 21st. Yeah, August 21st. It's the story of the Targaryen Civil War that took place 300 years before the events portrayed in Game of Thrones. The new trailer.
Are you excited about it?
Do what?
Are you excited about it?
I am, because I really like Game of Thrones. So I'm excited to kind of get some backstory on the Targaryens. I think they are an interesting family. I hope it's done well. I'm excited, but I'm hesitant at the same time. If that makes sense. I don't know. I hope it's good. I really do. The stuff I saw today, I saw dragons, which looked freaking sweet. I'm excited to see more dragons and learn these different dragons as well as different Targaryens. I saw some fighting, which looked pretty good. And I don't know. I'm curious. I'm excited, but I'm hesitant on it as well. So hopefully it's good. I will be watching 100%. Yeah. I'm sure we'll be talking about it on this podcast.
I'm sure we will. Like I'm hopeful for the show. Like I'm optimistic, but it's like cautiously optimistic because I don't really know how much of this show was even, was written and then also consulted about with the writer. So we'll see. George R. R. Martin. I don't really know how much he did of that, but also like I'm excited because it's more Game of Thrones media. So I'm excited to get into that and see this kind of story unfold and who's going to get stabbed in the back and all that kind of stuff. But I'm also like cautious about it because is this going to be like a cash grab series?
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, man. Are they going to do some shocking stuff just for the sake of it being shocking? Or are they like really going to try to make something that we all would like to watch,
Yeah.
and experience. So hopefully
Hopefully
they
it's
take
good.
it seriously enough, and as long as they do that, man, I think it'll be fine. Enough people are gonna watch the first episode anyway. That even if the show isn't that good, the views and ratings and people talking about it are going to be exactly what they want. Like we're talking about it right now, and it comes out next month. So I mean, like we're doing exactly what they want us to do, which is to keep it in the zeitgeist. So we'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
And then we move on to our next trailer, one that we're both excited for, I'm sure, and excited but a little nervous for me. Halloween Ends dropped its trailer late last night, early this morning, and
Yeah, it was late last night. They dropped it early because it was supposed to come out at the time of this recording today. But of course, you have people out there who like to ruin everybody's happiness, and they leak the trailer. So the studio decided to go ahead and post the trailer early. That's why it came out late last night.
okay. I was wondering.
So
I saw it.
yeah, yeah, I saw it like right when it dropped. I saw it. I think I sent it to you actually, right when it came out on Instagram. But anyway, I saw the trailer, and it's not really like a trailer. It's more like a teaser, right? It's a teaser
Yeah.
trailer, and honestly, this teaser was all that I need. It was
I don't want
really
anything
good.
else.
Well done.
Is that weird?
Exactly. No, it's not. I don't want anything else either.
From
I
now
want
till October, if this is the only, which I know it won't be because that's not how they work, we'll have 2 or 3 different trailers probably. If they just released this and that was like, all right, here you go, Halloween Ends October 14th. This is what you see. Like, I don't need anything else. Don't spoil anything for me. Just literally, we know they're gonna fight. She stabs Michael in the trailer. I'm sure Michael's gonna get beat up a lot, or stabbed, or shot. I'm sure she's gonna get beat up a lot. That's all I need. Whatever. I don't need anything else.
I agree with you, 100%. I think that this is the way that films should advertise their stories. Like, just give you a little bit, just give you enough, showcase some characters, showcase some action. Stuff's clearly cut out of order that we see. As a matter of fact, if you look at the teaser trailer now, you can look at the Michael character that Michael Myers is opening a door up, right? And then Laurie's on the other end with a gun. If you watch that trailer again, you notice that Michael has all his fingers. So that's just letting you know that's not even Michael. Like that can't be Michael because he has all his fingers. It doesn't
Valid
make any
point.
sense. Huh?
I said valid point.
Yeah. So like if you didn't notice that, then go back and watch the trailer again and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, I just thought that was, I thought that was interesting. I love that trailer. However, if you watch the trailer on YouTube, they have the synopsis of the film on YouTube. Read that synopsis and then tell me that you're not nervous that this movie might not be what you want it to be.
Don't tell me that.
You go read it, please, God, go read it.
Where
like,
am I
pull
going?
it up. Just hit up YouTube, pull up the official trailer, and look at the synopsis. Read it.
Why do you do this? Why can't you just let me be like ignorance is bliss, dumb, and hoping this is going to be good? And they're not going to make me.
Because I read the synopsis and I was like, wait a second. What do you mean?
All right, what am I looking for? Which one? Which trailer? Universal?
All right.
Or who?
Yeah, look up Universal, and then it should have the synopsis of the trailer in the description. So if you click the little arrow, it'll give you a description of the movie itself.
Jesus Christ! Why do I have to? Should I read it out loud?
Yeah, please let the people know.
Okay, this is Laurie Strode's last stand. After 45 years, the most acclaimed, revered horror franchise in film history reaches its epic, terrifying conclusion as Laurie Strode faces off for the last time against the embodiment of evil, Michael Myers, in a final confrontation unlike any captured on screen before. Only one of them will survive. Okay. Icon Jamie Lee Curtis returns for the last time as Laurie Strode, horror's first final girl, and the role that launched Curtis's career. Curtis has portrayed Laurie for more than 4 decades now, one of the longest actor-character pairings in cinema history. When the franchise relaunched in 2018, Halloween shattered box office records, becoming the franchise's highest-grossing chapter, and set a new record for the biggest opening weekend for a horror film starring a woman. 4 years after the events of last year's Halloween Kills, Lori is living with her granddaughter Allison and finishing writing her memoir. Michael Myers hasn't been seen since. Lori, after allowing the specter of Michael to determine and drive her reality for decades, has decided to liberate herself from fear and rage and embrace life. But when a young man, Corey Cunningham, is accused of killing a boy he was babysitting, it ignites a cascade of violence and terror that will force Lori to finally confront the evil she can't control once and for all. Halloween Ends co-stars returning. Okay, all them.
Yeah.
So that was it.
So
Wait,
just what you just read. Exactly. So let's go back for a second.
Hold up. Wait,
let's
whoa,
go back
okay,
for a second.
what's throwing me off right away? So a guy is accused of killing a boy he was babysitting, and that spirals the town into Michael, and that's gonna bring Michael out of hiding. Is that what I'm getting? Am I understanding correctly?
You see what I'm saying, dog? Like, just here, listen. But when a young man, Corey Cunningham, is accused of killing a boy he was babysitting, it ignites a cascade of violence and terror that will force Lori to finally
This isn't about to be some
confront
evil
the
dies
evil
tonight shit,
she
is it?
can't control once and for all. Bro, this movie is about to be about some dude we don't know named Corey Cunningham, and it's going to be about his story about not killing this kid or whatever, and Lori comes out of whatever to do, like, dude, like it's all right there in the text. They just let us know this movie is not about the final battle between Michael and Lori. It's not about, they don't even mention her granddaughter's Allison, except for the one time Lori lives with Allison. So does that mean that because her parents are gone, that she just inherited their house and just has money? Like, what? Did they not move out of Haddonfield? Did they stay there? Like, you know what I'm saying? She's not married to what's his name? They didn't get together after the 4 years and surviving all that stuff. Like, so many questions are left unanswered. Like, they made it seem like Lori was going to get.
Who are you talking about?
They in the last movie they made it seem like Lori was going to get with.
God, what is his freaking name?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like they gave us all of this stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe because the story's 4-year gap, right? And we know the story has a 4-year gap because of COVID, right? So like the last movie came out, blah blah blah. They said
what
at
does
first
that mean because of COVID? Just because of the filming? Hawkins, Frank Hawkins.
They said
is who
before,
she's with.
Yeah, they said before the film was filmed, like before they filmed anything and edited anything, they said that COVID was going to play a part in the movie. Now, I think that what happened is the reason why they said 4 years is because in 2018 is when the first one came out. So you had, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So they had to catch up to this year, right? But they were keeping it current. So originally they were going to have a 4-year wait because of COVID in general. So COVID was going to be mentioned in the actual film. Since they said that, they probably reneged on that and it's different now. But that's what they said before the movie was filmed. Like if you go back and watch interviews and stuff, that's exactly what they said. However, though, I don't know if that's going to continue to be the case. I also don't know what they're going to do with the film in general, because it sounds like what they're about to do is make this new character that we've never heard or seen of before a new guy that we're going to watch. So I'm not looking forward to that.
Is this new guy going to be the love interest for Allison?
I mean, they didn't really mention that. I feel like they would have mentioned that if that were the case.
I mean, but what if, you know what I'm saying though? Like, he's a younger guy. They'll probably have some kind of little thing, and they'll probably your happily ever after is Allison's got her a guy now, and her life's going to be better.
I'm thinking to myself, if it's 4 years later and this guy's the same age as Allison, right? She shouldn't be in high school anymore because high school is only 4 years. And this is 4 years after she was already in high school, which means that she's college age at this point, which means that this college age guy is babysitting a kid. Why is he doing that? Why spend his time babysitting? I mean, that might be a whole character thing for him, and I don't know that, but it just doesn't seem
because he's
like
Michael's
a part of the
cousin
story.
from another mother.
Dude, I don't know. All I know is it
That
seems
made
like
no
this
sense.
film is about to be about this new guy named Quarry, framed for murder, and then somehow Michael's involved in that, and
But how is
we
that
get to
going to bring
watch him in
Michael out of
like
hiding?
I don't know. But
Uh,
a lot of people
is it
didn't
like a
think.
summoning thing? Is that what we're going for? Like, if you think it's Michael enough and there's evil afoot, then Michael appears, kind of thing? Are they making him like supernatural? And
I
also,
don't
I
know,
don't
man.
think I
My
like
guess
that Lori
is
is
good as
embracing
yours.
life.
Why? I think
Because
that out of all of the things you just read in that plot synopsis, that should be the least of your worries.
I mean it is, but I don't think I like that. Because you take what 1978 movie, all the events that happened, and how Halloween Kills just kind of went down with him essentially just disappearing is very similar to 78, but where she held on to that grudge for 40 years. So now she's like, okay, he did it again. He disappeared. We're cool. Like, I'm just going to live life. I'm not worried about it. See what I'm
So
saying?
for me, I don't know, man. Like I think that honestly, whatever happens in this movie, it doesn't even really matter. Because like full disclosure for all the
Well, he
listeners,
didn't
I
disappear in
thought
the first one.
Halloween.
Sorry. He was in a mental institution. This one, he disappeared. So she knew where he was locked up last time. This one, he's loose and she's not worried.
Well, I mean, we don't know that because it's been 4 years. So maybe after 2 years of her waiting for him to come back, she just gave up. I don't know. But the thing is, to me, it can't be any worse than the last film was because Halloween Kills was like I just didn't really. I thought it was carnage candy for sure. So if you like seeing Michael murder some people, dope. If you like seeing cool kills, dope. But if you're there for the story and what's going on and how it leads up to other things, it wasn't really a good outing for me personally. Is it a movie that I'd watch again? Sure. I like that movie more than Halloween 2 from Rob Zombie. I like it more than Halloween Resurrection for sure. But that doesn't mean that it's like my favorite top five,
If
right?
you
It's
remove the
definitely
mob
not.
and Tommy Doyle's cheesy terribleness, that movie's better. That
Yeah, sure. I
that
agree. I
Tommy
agree.
Doyle got on my nerves so bad, that movie. I really did not like him.
Man, he definitely was a giant chocolate stain on that movie's draws for sure. He wasn't a good character. He wasn't written well. The things
No.
that he said were kind of ridiculous.
Yep.
And the whole evil dies tonight thing, like we can talk about that until the cows come home, but like that movie had so much of that in there that it's hard to look back and think of really nice things, right? Because of that. So that did really suck. Moving forward, I don't think that they can get any worse than that. And I hope that I'm right in that. I'm hoping that this movie is good. Either way, they have my money. I'm gonna see it the first week, that it's out. If I can't see it the first day, then I'll definitely see it that weekend for sure. And I'll give you my opinions in 3 months when the movie comes out. But also, we already know that no matter what happens in this film, they're definitely going to make more Halloween films later on. They're going to reboot the series again. They're not going to have Jamie anymore. She's too old. She doesn't want to do it. She's
Yeah,
made
this
her
is her
money.
ending.
You know,
So enjoy Jamie
yeah,
one last
exactly.
time.
Exactly. So she's done, but they'll absolutely do more Halloween films. They'll reinvigorate Michael again once they do the
Were they not
new.
supposed to do Supernatural something? Wasn't that
I don't think so.
I
No.
thought in 2018 they brought up that Michael is going to have a supernatural. There's going to be some kind of thing to that. I felt like Carpenter or somebody said something. So that makes me
I
wonder
don't
if
know
there's a
what you're
murder.
referring to.
I don't know. Is it going to be something like that? I don't know. Some kind of supernatural feel that brings him. I don't know. That is a
I have
very
no idea
weird
what you're referring
synopsis,
to.
though.
Yeah. Anyway, the reason for me bringing that up is because,
You like
like
to ruin my day.
yourself, most people watched the teaser trailer and were really excited, rightfully so, but you didn't read the synopsis because you're so used to not reading. So then when you read it, you see that what we got in this teaser is literally just a little piece of what this movie is about. And I'm sure that the studio is going to double, triple down, and we're going to get some hardcore trailers for it the month of the movie's release or whatever, the month before. So, September comes around, we're going to get way more shit about this movie, but then it'll open up people's eyes more so to what's going on. And we'll see. Like I said, I hope that it's good. I hope that this Quarry character or whatever his name is, I hope that he's not like a giant fucking reason for us not to like this movie. I'm really hoping that's not the case, but we'll see.
Let's hope. Just had to ruin it, didn't you? Just had to.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
Thanks for that. All right.
And yes, I did have to ruin it.
All right. Well, getting off that subject, now that Christian peed all in my Cheerios, there is a show that came out recently that we have put on the back burner discussing because we have been focused on a lot of other shows that were airing weekly and episodically. But the show would be The Umbrella Academy. Season 3 dropped a month ago.
Yeah, it's about 3 weeks old at this point.
Yeah, it's been a while. And we both have watched it, so I figured we would discuss a little bit about this. I'm going to go on record first. I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out there before Christian goes on his rant. My favorite characters are Klaus and Five. Hands down. Just saying it. Those are my two. I will say I like Diego more this season. To me, Diego was kind of meh. He was okay, but I didn't really have like any, I don't know. He was just kind of bland for me, normal vigilante kind of thing, until this season. I feel like he had a little growth with like the whole parenting thing. And yeah, Five and Klaus are literally my like focal points on the show. I love their interaction together. I love their separate stories. I really enjoy them. I like that Klaus's abilities expanded. We learned he can do more than just be a medium, essentially. We also got to see more Ben, and I'll have to say Ben is kind of a dick. But not like the lovable dick that I knew from like the ghost that always fusses with Klaus. He was kind of just a dick in general. And I was like, wow, Ben, I don't know. I wasn't as thrilled with Ben. I've been intrigued with Ben for the first 2 seasons, but this season I was like, Christian, what'd you think?
So as a whole, I think
favorite character.
This season,
favorite character.
My favorite character is Five. He's always been my favorite character,
okay.
even in the comics.
Pause. Stop right there. You love Dune, correct? Hear me out. This is gonna sound crazy. You love Five. You love Dune, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What if Five was now I just went, what is the main character Dune's name? Why am I drawing a blank? Paul, thank you. God, why could I not remember Paul? What if Five is Paul's son? Just saying. Look up a picture of Five, the actor Aiden Gallagher. Look him up with longer hair. Does he not look like he should be Paul's son or something in Dune?
He does have a Timothée Chalamet vibe to him, so that would make sense.
I saw it and I was like, damn, he should be in Dune. That would be sick. Because I actually really like him. I think he's a good actor. I enjoy Five a lot. And those that don't know, Five is essentially, like a 60-something-year-old man, probably?
Mm-hmm.
And he's a 60-something-year-old man that's literally in, like, a boy's body. So it's this old man in this tiny little body, but his mannerisms, it's great. If Five ever was gone or died, they would be so screwed. He's like the get shit done person in the group. Okay.
He really is. He's definitely my favorite character. He's been my favorite character. Like I was saying, he's my favorite in the comics. The actor that plays him, Aiden Gallagher, a lot of people fan cast him as the next Robin because he has the look, apparently. And they've been saying that since season 1.
Like what? Specify.
I mean,
like which are we talking? We're not talking about like Dick Grayson. Who are you talking about?
Well, it's not me. I'm not fan casting him.
Who are they casting him as?
Most people are casting him as Damien just because Damien's a child and Five was a child. But because Five is older now, he could be literally any Robin. It doesn't matter.
We haven't had a Damian Wayne. That would be interesting, actually.
as far as Robins go, he's definitely not my favorite, but a lot of people like him, and I think people like him because he gives you the Jason Todd energy just without getting murdered by the Joker. Um, and Jason Todd wasn't a good Robin either. Like I think that was the point. He was very much so the opposite of Dick Grayson, and they were trying to do anything in their power to have a Robin that opposed Batman more so than to follow his lead or his rule. And I get that. However, though, like I know we're not talking about Robins right now, but if I had to give you my quick ranking, I think that Tim Drake is forever going to be the best Robin. Um, I would say that Dick Grayson's the best Robin, but he is Nightwing to me. He's always going to be Nightwing to me, so that'll be the answer for that. Um, Jason Todd, he's coming in third, and that's only because I like Damian the least of all the Robins. A lot of people like Damian. He's definitely a better written character now than he was, like 5 years ago. But man, his introduction and how he came to be, mostly how he came to be, and then like what the character means and what he does, I really, really, really hated his character. He's a lot better now as a character. I can tolerate him for sure. He's even fun to read sometimes, and when you pair him up with Jonathan Kent, Superman, Superboy, like he's really awesome at that point as well. But like other than that, he just really gets my nerves, and his character really just exists to be the bad boy. Like if you're somebody who loves like Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z or Bakugo from My Hero, like then Damian Wayne's the Robin for you. Um, but I mean that kind of attitude is fun and it's cool in spurts, but all the time it's just kind of annoying. Anyway, with that being said, back to Umbrella Academy. The season as a whole, I did really enjoy it. There were some things in there that I didn't think needed to be. There were some things that they did in the series I didn't really agree with, but I still really enjoyed it as a whole. I love Vanya becoming Victor. I did really enjoy that. That's not in the comics. That's just a reflection of
Ellen Page
that
becoming
actor.
Elliot Page.
Yeah, that's wholly a reflection of that. But it was well written in the show. I liked how everybody kind of said, "Oh, you're Victor now? Okay, cool." And they just kind of went with it. I really enjoyed that. I'm glad that it wasn't like a big thing. I didn't, however, like Victor's haircut most of the movie. It was annoying. Like I was just like, why do you have the Spider-Man 3 emo Peter haircut right now? Like Bully Maguire haircut. Like do something else. There's so many other haircuts he could have gotten. They could have gotten. And I'm just like, whatever. But other than that, like I really enjoyed the season. I really like that one character coming back. I can't think of his name right now. Harlan. I really like Harlan coming back as an old man. I like the actor they chose. I like the little tics that he has. How he's always listening to music or sounds. I really like that. I will say though, this season was a perfect example of how to take a character that is, either liked or well liked and turn them into the most hated character of all time. I absolutely hated Allison in this season.
Oh yeah, she
from
sucked.
The start. From the start, I called it immediately, and I was just like, "This is the worst character in the show. She's not written well. Her motivations are garbage. I just really hated everything about her, and they don't redeem her. She just kind of doubles down on being a piece of shit throughout the season." The beginning of the season, when she starts talking about her daughter and how she has to go and see her daughter and this and that, I was just thinking to myself, if the timeline is different and you no longer exist in this timeline as the person that you were, that means that your daughter no longer exists. You can't exist. If you don't exist, your child or children cannot exist. That's just basic common sense. With that being said, her whole thing is to go run off and see her daughter the first episode once they come back to the skewed timeline. And you see that she is not her daughter, right? And I was just like, what the fuck did you think was going to happen? That's just like literally take a second, think about what you're doing, and then you'll realize, oh, this isn't even going to work. And even if her daughter lived in the same house and was the same kid, she wouldn't be yours. So use your brain. But here's what really pissed me off about Allison's character. She legitimately was in another timeline in the last season, right? Season 2. She forgot all about her fucking daughter in that season. She was all up Ray's ass. She literally left her kid and didn't want to go back to her original timeline because she didn't want to leave the man that she was with. So I was thinking to myself, your daughter clearly doesn't mean that much to you if you are willing to leave her in another timeline to stay with this dude. who's so much older than you because you come from a different time. You can't be with this man because he's from a time that you didn't exist in. And the daughter that you have that you love so much, you didn't give a fuck about her, dude. So that really pissed me off. As a parent, it pissed me off. As a viewer, it pissed me off. As a lover of the actual comic and source material, it pissed me off. Allison was just the absolute worst character to watch in this entire season. I hated her. She cut her hair off in one scene early on, and then her hair looks really fucking stupid throughout the season. I also really hated that. Everything about her motivations, her character's development, it was trash. I couldn't stand it. And then at the end of the season, she's like the biggest villain that we got. You know, you thought Vanya was bad in season 1. Like, no, absolutely not. So that's one of the biggest negatives I have. I mean, I guess it's also a positive. You want a character that people can latch onto and hate, but I mean, we already have that with their dad, right? The Mr. Hargreaves, like he's the worst dad ever, and he doubles down on being the worst dad ever as well by the end of the season. So I really hated that.
I forgot he was an alien for like a split second. And
yeah,
we
found that out before.
Do what?
You go ahead.
I had completely forgot that whole revelation that he was like an alien or something. And then like I forget, it was one of the later episodes. I was like, isn't he an alien? And then about that times when he did like the whole tentacle thing, I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely. And she was like, damn, I forgot about that too. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it was easy to forget that kind of stuff if you didn't watch the recap or if you didn't go back and rewatch the season beforehand, because it's been a few years since we've seen it.
I hadn't watched any of it since. I just went straight
totally
in.
Understandable. Totally understandable. With that being said as well, though, I like for I can't think of his name right now. Number one, Luther. Yeah, Luther's story in this season, I didn't necessarily love it, but because of how his character has been the past 2 seasons, it made so much sense. His story made probably the most sense out of everybody's stories moving forward in the season, because he is the most alienated character. He is the only one of them who's absolutely alone, who has no one, who has no friends, who only has his family. Like he doesn't even have a pet, like nothing. So it made perfect sense on how his character evolves in this season and what he does and what his motivations are. I totally get it. So I didn't necessarily like where it was going because it wasn't my favorite, but it made sense, and I totally get it. You know, so I in closing, I guess I did enjoy his character once I really thought about it. Other than that, the progression of the other characters, like Five's character progression, is practically the same every season. You know, he's the guy who thinks, he's the guy that comes up with plans.
He's the one that saves the world. He's who figures it all out. Pretty much.
Yeah. And I mean, he's absolutely my favorite character, so I really enjoyed him. Klaus is a close second. He's also really fun to watch. He's always
Klaus is your comedic, like, lovable idiot. He's always just doing dumb stuff.
He's definitely the heart of the family. Like, Klaus being gone means that the entire Umbrella Academy is gone. Like, they would never come back to each other and do what they need to do without Klaus. I know that sounds weird, knowing that Klaus is like a big druggie and all this stuff and does all these things that he does, but it absolutely makes perfect sense for the season, for the family, for the characters. And then learning, you know, this season that he is, you know, spoilers, effectively immortal is great.
I love that.
I love that they give him more powers because he's the most powerful of all of the siblings in the original story.
Is he
the
really?
Comic. Yeah, him and Vanya are like the 2 most powerful characters that you have in the stories. Vanya's the white violinist character. She's obviously very powerful.
I think Ben would be up there with her for some reason.
Nah, Ben's definitely not very powerful, and he does die in the comics, and you know that's pretty much the end of him, and that's kind of one of the reasons why the family kind of splits off after that. And they talk about it in this season too. You know, once Ben died, nobody else gave a damn. So I get that. That makes sense. Also though, like
he Ben's character exists essentially to die, right? Like that's his whole character arc in the story in the comic. Other than that, though, you have other stuff going on too. So uh, Luther, you know, the kind of half ape, half man thing going on. He's super lonely. So, like I said, his character's evolution makes sense. Um, Rumor's character, we already talked about how I hate Allison.
And she sucked.
Um,
I didn't like her at
yeah,
all this
she's
season. She was terrible.
Victor has a whole like everything that they do with Victor is like they made up for the show. Like they pretty much stopped following Victor's story after season one. I will say that the hotel that they were staying in, that's the name of the third arc for the comic. It's called Hotel Oblivion, not Project Oblivion, Hotel Oblivion. But in this, it's called Hotel Obsidian. And I don't think that there's anything, I don't think there's the sparrows either. I think all that's made up for the show. So a lot of the stuff that we saw, if not all of it in this season, is all made up for the show. So, I mean, it's really cool to see. I did enjoy it. I'm excited for, more of it to come out. They don't have their powers anymore. They're in another timeline. The only character who got anything that they wanted was Allison, which really pisses me off. And then you see their dad with his alien wife or whatever back, and that's what he wanted. That's what
Who was that? Was that the one that was on the moon with Luther?
Yes.
Okay.
Remember, he told Luther that he sent him up to the moon to protect the most important thing in the world to him, which was her, and he was doing all this to bring her back in the show. And the comic's a little different, and I think the comic's still going. If I'm not incorrect, it might be done now, but like I don't remember how the comic ends. I don't think I read the last part of it. But with that being said, I really want to know what they're going to do with the rest. I hope that Netflix doesn't just cancel it. I hope that they actually continue it and finish it up. It deserves that. The show is good enough for it. So, I mean, those are kind of my thoughts. Like, I enjoyed this season. It's not as good as the first season or even the second season, but it's still nice to see. I did like the return of a bunch of characters like Lila and stuff.
Yeah.
But this season, like, was a lot of you learning new characters, essentially just for them to get fucking murdered anyway. So.
Yeah, the only one that
liked how they
potentially
had,
might survive would have been Sloane, and I don't think she survived.
I mean,
Maybe.
we definitely don't see her, so that makes sense that she didn't survive.
Yeah, I mean, she could have went somewhere else like Allison though. They were all kind of together, and Allison was off in her own thing. So who knows?
Yeah, because what's his name had already set up what he needed to set up. He was almost done before she stopped him, and I think he did finish it.
Reginald Hargraves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about Diego's kind of? So Diego in the first two seasons really was just kind of like, let's go fight stuff, vigilante stuff. Not really a lot. Always kind of just competing. This one, he kind of almost wanted to settle down with a family. Lila tricked him thinking he had a son with Stan, which was pretty funny. And then when Stan dies, that's even funnier because she's like, oh, that's not my son. That was just my friend's kid that I borrowed.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack with that.
And then she's pregnant. We think I'm still not 100% sure if she's actually pregnant because she kind of is hesitant at times. So I wonder if that's another lie because one of the best lines though is like when he's like, "Why would you lie or why would you make that up?" And she's like, "Well, you did meet me in a mental institution." Or he calls her crazy or something. She's like, "Well, yeah, that's why."
I mean, I think that the whole point of that is that she was testing him to see how he would react. Because if he reacted negatively, then she just would never tell him that she's pregnant. So he essentially passed her test. So she told him, and she wanted him to know, and she wanted him to choose her. But also, she wants to, still fight and do all the cool stuff that they were doing, and be a superhero and blah blah blah. But Diego's like, you can't really do that and be pregnant because that's pretty obvious there, but also she's like eating a bunch of sushi, and apparently when you're pregnant you're not supposed to eat fish like that, and especially sushi. So like there's all kinds of things that she does that she's not supposed to be doing that she's pregnant, but I mean she wouldn't know because she didn't really have a good role model in that aspect, and she's not really paying attention to it either. So there's just a lot of things going on with these characters that's interesting to see, but I did, like I said, however, like some of that stuff and how it was going. I really was hoping to get more Five action in this. Like, I love Five so much. I wanted to see more of his character doing stuff. But because everybody kind of just gave up and was expecting the apocalypse or the
You got a lot of Five getting drunk, is what you got.
yeah, it was hilarious. By the way,
So I was wrong. Apparently, he's, I guess, in the first season, 48. That doesn't sound right. I feel like he was older in the apocalypse because he was very, like, grizzled and stuff.
yeah, I mean he grows to be super freaking old, married to that mannequin and stuff.
What's the
Dolores.
mannequin's name?
Dolores.
Dude, he gets serious on that quick. Do not talk about her.
I do love that.
Um,
That's hilarious.
So while we're on the subject of Five, I was looking up stuff on the actor, and I just saw fan art of him as Robin. I mean,
What do you think?
I kind of see it. I don't. So, when was Damian Wayne Robin? Because
When
doesn't he
was
become
Robin?
Nightwing?
No, Damien's only been Robin. He hasn't been another.
In Justice, he
moniker.
becomes Nightwing.
Yeah, but that's not like the main canon.
Okay.
So
I mean,
and,
I
yeah.
don't
and
know.
in Injustice, he actually kills Nightwing.
Oh, he
So
does.
that's
Doesn't
why.
he?
Yeah, remember that?
That's a really good story. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've seen. I don't know. He's 18 years old now, so if that's right on how old the actor is. Not the worst
I think
thing I've
that
seen.
the ship for him being Robin, that ship has definitely sailed. It's too late now. If they choose to do like an actual, kid Robin, then yeah, it's too late for that. But also the way they have the Batman set up, unless they just do a major time skip, I don't really think we're getting a Robin.
I mean, what if, so you give us a couple years, what if he finds his Robin this next movie and he's, early. I mean, actually, he looks younger than he is, though.
He does.
So, I mean, he could play, what? When's the next one's probably, what, 2024? 2023? Next Batman?
The next Batman probably wouldn't come out to 2024.
So 2024,
so
he's
yeah.
going to be 20. We'll say he's like, he could pass his like 17 maybe. 16, 17.
I mean, we'll see, dude. Like
I don't know. It probably won't happen. I could see it. I'm not saying it's like something that has to happen, but it's not the worst thing I've seen for Robin. I think a young Nightwing would be pretty sick, but I don't know. A Damian Wayne, I don't really know how you would do that if they went the Damian Wayne route. That would be fresh and new because we haven't had a Damian Wayne yet in live action that I know of. So
I think as far as the live action films go, they need to nail down Batman and his motivations and what it means to be Batman before they try to introduce a side character.
Yeah.
Because adding someone like Robin or Nightwing to these films, like, I mean, it would be cool because we love the characters in the comics and they haven't done it, so it'd be new. But just because they're doing something that we haven't seen before doesn't mean it's going to be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be like a Debbie Downer for people who are like, oh, yeah, I would love to have a Robin. I want to see Nightwing in the movies, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's cool. And I think most people think the same thing. But the reason why we get so much Batman stuff is because Batman's an easier character to nail. You can't go from Batman being super broody and dark and, something's in the way and all that stuff, and then immediately go to him finding a kid to be Robin. Like, that's not necessarily how that works. It would take away from the grandioseness of the first film. So you'd have to find a writer who can pull that off, and then an actor who's young enough to be
Maybe
this
about
Robin.
the third one you could get there, like his character progression.
I mean, at this point, I think anything's possible, but the way, the tone of, like, for an example, the Batman, I'm just going to say flat out no.
Yeah.
Now, for this Batgirl shit we're supposed to get coming out at whatever that's coming out at, it's supposed to showcase Batman and then Robin, and we're supposed to have somebody who's supposed to be Robin and then Nightwing and that. I think that's perfect for it because we don't know what the tone of that film is. The tone of that could be way lighter and it could make sense, right?
Yeah.
But for the tone of the Batman, can you see Robert Pattinson running around with the kid who's Robin doing that shit?
Not really.
Exactly. So that's what I say to all the people out there who, and I know this is kind of like a tangent. I didn't mean to go down this route, but like all the people who think that that's what they want, like, first, how would you tell that story and make it not trash? And then two, how would you tell that story and sell it to somebody who's used to Batman in the films being dark and broody and kind of brutal? Like, how would you bring a Robin character up in those films and make it not cringy? Like, that's a big feat, right? And I know people will say, oh, well, I mean, we didn't think that we were going to get 3 Spider-Mans in a movie, but it happened. But yeah, but the tone of those Spider-Man films are way lighter
We
than
got
the
3
tone
Spider-Mans in a movie?
of. We sure fucking did.
Oh, wow. Really?
But like the tone of that is so much lighter. And like people are like, well, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin was so dark and so this and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, but think about that film, though. Really think about it. Willem Dafoe was dark because the darkest we've seen in those movies was fucking Willem Dafoe. So all he had to do was what he did in the first movie that he was in 2002, and then up it. That's all he had to do. So of course it was darker. Somebody actually fucking died in those movies. It didn't come back to life because of reasons, right? So that was also something that was cool. And it was like Aunt May, who we're not used to dying, right? Because we're used to Uncle Ben dying. So like that made it dark. And also if you go back and look, half of that movie is dark and rainy when we're watching the fight scenes. It's really dark and there's water going around and it's at night. And then other scenes from that movie are during the day and it's bright. And we can see that, what we're used to seeing for Spider-Man films. So yes, it was dark for a Spider-Man film, but like it wasn't that dark for films in general. If you look at almost any scene from the Batman, it's 3 times darker than pretty much any scene from Spider-Man. So the reason why I'm saying that is because the tone of Spider-Man allows you to do those things. And we already have the introduction to like magic and all that shit. So it's way easier for you to do shit like that in those movies because the tone of those films are way lighter. All Marvel films are pretty much comedy, like action comedy films, right? They're like buddy cop action comedy movies. That's what they all are if you look at them, minus like Captain America Winter Soldier, right? That's like one of the darkest films they have. And people say, well, Infinity War and Endgame are really dark. And Endgame's dark because the first scene of the movie is Thor cutting fucking Thanos' head off. So yeah, that's pretty dark. But after that, it's really just fucking sad until the end of the movie, right? So like that's what I'm saying. Like you have to find a balance. And I think that Marvel used to have a better balance, but now their films have so much comedy in them that the balance of them being, you know, serious action films, they're losing that. And I hope they find that by the time they get to like Blade and stuff, but we'll see.
All right. Well, that's our tangent on Batman and Umbrella Academy. We'll wrap up both all in one thing. Christian went down the Christian rabbit hole. But Umbrella Academy Season 3, pretty good. I'm kind of with you. I like Season 1 and 2 better, but I mean, I still enjoyed it. I enjoy Umbrella Academy. Pretty much everybody else is kind of meh. Allison sucked. I completely agree with that. Did not like her at all this season. She was a piece of trash. And 5 and Klaus are awesome. And that's about it. Everything Klaus and 5 did was fun and enjoyable, including the bus scene. Well, I forget what he called it. We had a fun. We played catch. We called it bus ball or something like that, or car. I don't know. He had some kind of name, but essentially, like his dad kept throwing the ball out there, and Klaus would catch it and get hit by a vehicle and die and come back, and yeah, it was pretty funny. But show was pretty good all in all. Did enjoy it. And yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it. That's about all we have time to talk about this week. But it's that time of the show. That's right. It's the time where you
pass the whiskey.
So get your
Whiskey
ready and let's do our last call question of the week. This week's question comes from returning patron. That would be on the inside. Coming back for yet another question and another beverage. He says, favorite VOT 7 character, I'm guessing? And favorite from the... Okay, favorite VOT 7 character... Or favorite character from the VOT 7 group. Reading is hard. And favorite characters from the boys group. Mine's going to be really boring. My two, like the immediate two that pop into my head are going to be very boring. So I apologize in advance. And I think something's wrong with me.
Are they Butcher and Homelander?
Yeah, 100% Butcher and Homelander. Oh, God, what is wrong with me? Homelander is horrible, but for some reason, I can't get enough of Homelander. I guess that speaks to the actor, the writing, the character development. He is a terrible person. There's no way around it. He is horrible. But I am just waiting so patiently for that snap where he just goes ballistic and he just starts murdering everything. And I won't. Yeah, I can't wait for it. And then Butcher is just, I don't know. Butcher's Butcher. And I love Butcher. He's hilarious. He's a badass. Sometimes he's an asshole. Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice little package. Huey, I know it's supposed to be us. Huey's okay. Eminem's pretty good.
Wow.
What?
That's what we're calling Mother's Milk, Eminem.
Eminem, yeah. That's what they call him, MM.
They call him MM in the show, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll put an and in there. We're going to call him Eminem's.
Jesus.
Yeah, Mother's
All right,
Milk.
man.
You know, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it out of you. Who's your favorite two?
Well,
If you don't say the Deep, I'm disappointed in you.
for the sake of not being boring, I'm going to choose different answers than you. But
Okay, if I hadn't picked mine and you picked yours first, who would you pick?
I don't even think that's relevant at this point.
You should have picked the same people. Don't
I was
lie.
talking.
Be honest. If I hadn't picked mine, who would you have picked?
I mean, it's really, I would have picked Homelander anyway. Maybe not Butcher, but I would have picked Homelander for sure.
Okay, so who would have been your boys then? Your first pick.
First pick for the boys, Mother's Milk, bro. Mother's Milk is the best character in the boys. He's the best character on the boys team for sure. Without Mother's Milk, you got nothing. And they've shown us that a couple of times in this season, in the last season. Without MM, dude, they don't function correctly. And even Butcher, with all the lies that he tells and all the bullshit that he does, he meant what he said when he was talking about Mother's Milk and like how he met him and why he brought him to the team. He is definitely the heart of the team for sure. And he's the coolest motherfucker on the team. He's got so much fucking just, he's aesthetically pleasing. He's aesthetically pleasing as a character. He always has cool, dope ass rap shirts. They fit him like a fucking glove. He's a good looking dude. I like the way that he talks. He's smooth as fuck. It's inspired. His fucking goatee is dope. Like he's just a cool ass character.
This guy.
He's
okay,
a cool character.
Second round picks. So Homelander and MM would have been your first round picks. Who's your second round?
Yeah, but so, well, I mean, because I'm thinking about it now. So, like I said, MM definitely would have been a pick for me. I really liked Mother's Milk's character. And then as far as the 7 go, not picking Homelander, I would probably say, I mean, Maeve. Maeve is a dope character. I really like
cool.
Maeve. She did what she needed to do this season, and I really enjoyed that. But I mean, I gotta say though, like, we get so many funny moments with the Deep, bro. Like,
I think my second pick would be the Deep, just because he's such a fuck up. Like it's literally he's the worst. Like, and it's not even that he's powerful and strong. I'm sure he is. He just, God, like it's always something bad with him, from like the octopus to whatever.
it's hilarious. Like him eating Timothy was hilarious, and then Ambrosia, that was hilarious. And
A-Train would have been a strong candidate for second also for me. Like he would have been up there with the Deep, just because A-Train kind of is up and down. Or Black Noir, they would have been close.
Black Noir would have been my choice over A-Train, because the only thing that A-Train's ever done that I liked was killing Blue Hawk. That was it.
Yeah. I'm going to say my second round choice after Homelander's Deep, just because he's such a screw up.
That's fair.
Just to not pick Maeve too, because I do like Maeve. I think Maeve is a solid character with a pretty good arc. Second round pick for the boys, Kimiko. Does she count?
Okay. Yeah, she's a part of the boys.
Okay. Because without her, they're screwed in a lot of situations.
I mean, I agree. I agree with you on that.
That's a great show. Good question.
Yeah, man. I will say honorable mention for the 7 for me. Even though she is currently dead, I really did enjoy Stormfront. She was so racist and so ridiculous that her character was a joy to watch, because I knew that she wasn't real. And and man, yeah, like it was hilarious because there's still a rumor going around, and I mean, who knows? It could resurface next season that she is actually Homelander's mom, because
Ooh.
we do know that his dad is Soldier Boy. We do know that
Would he have counted for the 7, Soldier Boy?
Nah, he wasn't a part of the 7. Like, not the new 7 anyway.
Because I would have thrown Soldier Boy in there. I actually really loved Soldier Boy this season.
I think Soldier Boy's just like, you don't even have to put him on a team. He's just an MVP. He's so dope as a character.
He was a really good character.
He's so dope as a character. They had to find a way to write him out of the next season because nobody else would care about any other character other than him. So Jensen Ackles
crushed it.
Is forever immortalized as a king because of that role. Yeah. Even though he played a piece of shit, like, we love seeing him, dude. We love seeing him.
I think that's the thing, though, with this show. You kind of start to love the pieces of shit in a way. Like Homelander. Like, I don't love him, and I'm waiting on his demise. But if he falls and it's over for Homelander, the show's over. To me.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's one that I don't know how to explain it. It's a weird dynamic, but I love it.
End of the story, though. So that's why you want it, because you want it, but you don't. You don't want it because it means it's the end of the show, but you want it because that means that we got there, right? We got to the end.
But
we saw how
him just do more things that we'll never. Maybe it's because we'll never see Superman do the things Homelander does, but Superman can, and you've always in the back of your head been like, what if? Kind of like Batman. Like, what if that happened?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
him blasting that dude's head at the end of season 3. What if? What if someone said something to Superman, he's just like, boom, gone. Like that. Like, now what? Because what can you really do to him as a normal person? Or even the heroes minus Soldier Boy?
Not much.
Nothing.
Man. Dave did make him bleed.
Man, that was good. I can't wait for the next season of that. Good question. Thank you, sir. That was a good question. I would also like to know yours, so definitely let us know your favorite too. Or anybody listening, let us know your favorite person from the 7 and from the boys group that watch the show. I would like to know some answers. I want to see who everybody else picks. That is actually a really good question that I would like to hear some responses back on. And speaking of responses, if you'd like your question to be featured on Sippin With Sin for the last call segment, hit us up in Gilded, gilded.gg/Sinister Pack. In the application, just put from the podcast, or message us on any of the social medias, on the Sippin With Sin social medias, or you can hit me or Christian up on our social medias and hit us with a question. We will love to put it on the podcast, feature it, and answer it for you guys. Or if you want to come talk about episodes, topics, suggestions, drinks, personal horror stories, or sinister tales, stories, and things like that. Christian's comic talk, art, there's all kinds of stuff. Come to the Gilded server, like I just listed before. I can't talk. And join. Come talk about the podcast with us, or hit us up on socials. You can find us on social media at Sippin With Sin, SIPPIN with Sin on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And then, of course, you can find me on everything at IamSinister TV. I'll live stream on Facebook at fb.gg/IamSinisterTV, Twitch, twitch.tv/IamSinisterTV, and also on TikTok, IamSinisterTV, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Come find me, come say hello. Would love to communicate with you, hear your thoughts. Come hang out in the live streams. We do them in the early mornings, and then we do usually TikTok in the afternoons. And then every episode is released Wednesday mornings. That's right, 8 a.m. Central Time. They're released on Apple, Google, Spotify, Overcast, Anchor FM, and more. Check it out. The video version that you may be watching right now on YouTube is released on YouTube. On my personal YouTube, youtube.com/IamSinister. Come hang out over there. And subscribe, share it, all that good stuff. And don't forget, rate 5 stars, share the podcast, keep spreading the word about it. Subscribe, follow, all that good stuff and things. It helps more than you know. Continue to push it out to more people, and let's continue to grow this thing. And Christian, where can the lovely folks find you on socials if they want to come talk to you about stuff and tell you that evil dies tonight? Everybody go tell Christian evil dies tonight. That's what you should do right now.
It's a quick way to get blocked, that's for sure.
I'm texting you this immediately.
So, guys, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Vin and Ink. That's VenAndInk. Vin and Ink, all one word. Those are the only two places you can find me because, contrary to popular belief, I don't like social media too much.
All right. And I think we had a topic we were going to talk about potentially this week, but we're going to save it for next week. So to give you guys a little something to look forward to, a little teaser, if you will, we're going to discuss some slashers. And I guess we're going to debate on some slasher stuff at that. So if you enjoy that, next week's episode, we should be discussing that, as well as more stuff and things to talk about. Hopefully we'll be able to talk about Black Phone next week and some more stuff. So don't forget to tune in next week. But thank you for listening up to this point. We appreciate you very, very much. You're beautiful. We appreciate you taking the time out of the day to make it this far. If you made it this far, you're a real one. You're a real one, and Christian will give you 3 crisp high fives. But this is where we shut it down for the night. It's it. We're shutting the doors. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. We'll see you guys next week. Christian, finish it off.
Thank you guys for tuning in to yet another episode of Sipping with Sin. Be sure to leave a 5-star review, smash that like button, and leave your recommendations in the comments below. But most importantly, don't get gutted.
That's right. See you guys next time.